Hello, everyone, and welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott. Hope everybody's doing well today. I wanted to take a minute and show my pup. This is Obi. He's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. He's about 11 weeks old, and he's already getting heavy. He's a good boy. Anyhow, he's a little camera shy. He's now off to the side, laying down. So I wanted to take a couple of minutes and shoot a quick video and see how everybody's doing. We're busy here. Our new home that we're moving to out in the sticks is getting closer to being ready. It's probably about 85 to 90% complete. And we should be moving out there probably, hopefully, in the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's been kind of a long, strange trip, but we're almost done. We're really looking forward to it. Today, for the end of August, it's rather cool. I think it's only in the 70s today, mid to high 70s, which normally this time of year it's in the 90s. So we're appreciating the cool weather. It's a little rainy out. We have a hurricane and I think it's a tropical depression in the Atlantic and a forming hurricane or tropical storm in the Caribbean, and they're bringing us lots of rain, which we needed a good rain. We were getting the afternoon thunderstorms, but that really doesn't soak the ground and make things grow. So we're kind of happy. We're working today and kind of taking it easy a little bit. We've made all our preps for the move that we can make, and so now it's just kind of sitting back and waiting a little bit, and we're all starting to plan a little bit about what we're going to do once we get out there. We have about 6 acres. Most of it is wooded, and so we'll be working on that, and we're going to decide exactly what we're going to do. Anyhow, we are kind of excited. I had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about bug out bags and get home bags and inch bags, and I think a lot of us, or at least a lot of people that watch channels like mine, we have an inkling of what that is. What a get home bag is, something that gets you back to your home. A bug out bag is going to another location. My get home bag to me is kind of my bug out bag. I kind of cascade things. My get home bag becomes a part of my bug out bag. My bug out bag becomes part of my inch bag. And if all goes well, if I've got more than 15 or 20 minutes, I'm taking my truck. Because I can put a lot more stuff in my truck. And so, when I talk about bug out bags and such, to me, my bug out bag is really my truck. And I have things in my home that are pre-packaged that I can load into my truck pretty easily, and yet they are the same things I kind of work out of every day. I just pull them out of a tub, use them, and when I'm done, I put them back in the tub. And so we keep a fairly decent state of preparedness when it comes to that. A lot of our food is in buckets and whatever, so we can just load that. But a thought came across my mind the other day, and I think it was from reading, like in the Old Testament, when the Jews had to leave Egypt, it wasn't really a go, I mean, there was a build up to the leaving, but when they finally got the word, it was like, go down. After Pharaoh suffered from all the plagues and diseases and stuff, he finally said, go. It was go now. And so they left. And it got me thinking of the word flee. When you are fleeing something, it's like a narrow escape. You're getting away by the skin of your teeth, which comes from Job, meaning the same thing, narrowly escaping a disaster. And I started thinking about it. We all have all these plans of how we're going to do things, But what if you had to flee? I mean, what if you had to literally run with the clothes on your back, that you really didn't have time to pull the bug out bag out of your closet, or maybe not even be able to get into the truck and drive away? Um, but what if you had to flee? Because that happens. It's a rare, it's a rare occurrence. Not very many people have to flee. For some natural disasters, you do, or like earthquakes or mudslides or wherever, you're literally fleeing. You don't have time to grab all your goodies and go. So what do you do for fleeing? And I thought about this from the aspect, well, if I'm fleeing, I'm running as fast as I can. I am escaping imminent danger. And that may not mean that I can carry a bug out bag with my plate carrier and plate and my 200 rounds of ammunition and my pistol with 45 rounds of ammunition and all this other stuff, because now you're talking 50 pounds, and you can't run real fast in 50 pounds. It's just not going to happen. So what do you do? When you're in in the military, the infantry would drop rucks. If things got that bad, they would drop rucks and then run with what they had on them. But what does your fleeing look like? And I really started thinking about this, and I don't necessarily have a lot of cohesive thoughts on it. But in general, my get home bag, I could flee with, because it's light enough. And it probably has enough stuff in it that I could get by. And that's really what might happen when you're fleeing, is you have just enough to get by. And so I think my bag is about, it's about 20 liters, 1,200 cubic inches, somewhere in there. And it's about half full. It's a little bit heavy, 12, 14 pounds. My scales are packed, so I can't weigh it. A lot of my house is packed right now, anticipating this move. But, what would you take if you had to flee? And I started, and I'm looking at my get home bag thinking, is there more I can take out of that? What would I take to flee? Because a lot of stuff is heavy. And one of the things that crossed my mind was, I might not bring my pistol, because that pistol and ammunition is a couple of 3 pounds right there. Even a Glock, which is a pretty lightweight pistol, by the time you put a full magazine in it and then have an extra magazine, that's a couple pounds. So would I leave my pistol, and then would I just take a rifle? Which rifle would I take? The way I feel about, excuse me, the way I feel about it right now is I have a bolt action 5.56 millimeter. I'd probably take that with me, and 20 or 40 rounds of ammunition. And the reason why I chose that, because if you look at the history of survival rifles, especially in reference to the Air Force, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they had a couple survival rifles, and they were chambered for 22 Hornet. 22 Hornet's a very old cartridge. I forget, I think it goes back to the 20s, but it's pretty close in performance to the 5.56. And so, trying to balance weight and fleeing, that I could probably do okay with a 5.56 rifle. At least here in the Southeast where I live, I can kill anything that needs killing with a 5.56. And so I may just bring a rifle, and then I bring a knife, but I wouldn't bring a lot of stuff, because when you're fleeing, you're running. And something's probably chasing you, be it a natural disaster or the enemy or whatever. So I'm hoping you'll kind of, think about this a little bit. It's been bouncing around in my head. I know there's a lot of empty space up there, but it's bouncing around a little bit. And I really had to think about this because if you're fleeing, you can't be making decisions at that point of what to take and what not to take. Because you are, in my mind, when you are fleeing, you are literally running out of the door. It's that, it's that imminent. And so you don't have time to stop by the gun safe. You don't have time to, hoist up your bug out bag and say, oh, this is too heavy. You may not even have time to dig your bug out bag out of your closet with your winter clothes on top of it. So, I'm kind of pondering this, and I'm kind of just putting this out there. I don't have any, real decent advice, but, going along with that, we tend to be real gadget oriented. And so, what do you really need? I mean, I see people carrying 2, 3, 4, 5 knives with them. When I was a kid, when I went out in the woods, when I went out, I had one knife. When I was in the Army, I had 2. I had a sheath knife that I kept on my survival vest, and then I had a pocket knife, which is either a Swiss Army knife or it was what we called an US knife. It was a pocket knife that was issued by the government. It's stainless steel, made by several contractors. Really a pretty good knife. And so, but that's all I carried. And then whatever gear I had in my vest. So, give it some thought. I know that, when I think of an E&E kit, an escape and evasion kit, which is similar to a fleeing kit because you're kind of doing the same thing, they're usually very small. There's a pack company out there, it's Kifaru, Kifaru, I think, and they make a little E&E kit that's about 12 liters. It's small, but that would be about the right size. Something that you would just grab and go. And so, what would I grab and go? What would you grab and go? So, as I ponder this, I probably won't go back into this again until I move because all my stuff is packed. I mean, I have my get-home bag and stuff, but for me to go in and really kind of look at what I would consider an E&E kit, I'd probably go into some of my extra stuff that I have tucked away in tubs, which right now is tucked away. But I think I want to create a smallish kit and maybe either keep it in my truck or keep it on a coat hook by the door. And what I mean by this, if I can grab my get-home bag or I can grab my bug-out bag, I would surely grab those first. But what if I couldn't grab those? What would I grab? So anyhow, give it some thought. If you'd like to comment, go ahead. And then another thing I want to talk about is I had another video out about journaling, about writing your experiences and stuff. Well, I want to talk about what I call my survival journal. And what this is a book. I got it here. It's made by a company called Write in the Rain. There's the model number. It's a smallish book. It's about the size of my hand. It'll fit in the back pocket. The paper is impregnated and it's very water resistant. If you get it wet, it won't fall apart. You can write on it with pencils or pens that are designed for it, like a space pen, even when it's wet. It's a real sturdy, durable book. I have several of these, and I have different things in them, but I call this my survival book. And what I do with that is I have different things that I think are important to me. Hey, no. And so I think are important to me. An example is I have acronyms. I have the police 10 codes. I have things on plan identification. I have things about acronyms like COLD or PLAN, which are survival acronyms. I have plant identification. I have some first aid, some homeopathic medicines. I have ways of purifying water, formulas on um, how to purify water if you have a different concentration of bleach other than household bleach. How to disinfect with iodine if you just have a bottle of iodine and not the tablets. And so it's just little stuff. And then as I find it, I write them in here and I keep them. And then once this book is full, I'll keep it in my pack. Right now, I keep it on my desk. This would be one of the things that I would grab and go with because I can just slip it in my back pocket. But I am constantly referencing it, and I am constantly adding to it. So you may not have to get one like this. You can get you can go to Office Depot or Office Max, Staples, whatever, and just get a regular book. But I like this one because it's durable. But you know, we all have libraries, and these libraries are big. But if you're bugging out, or if you're leaving, if you're fleeing, you can't pack that whole library with it. I mean, even if I had my truck, I would not take all my books in my library because I only have X amount of space, and there's other things I need to put in there besides books. And so this is what I take with me. This is what I would take with me. And I just, like I said, I continually add to it. So a couple things today to consider. The world's going crazy out there. It's getting crazier and crazier. I think China may be working out a trade deal with the U.S. now. It sounds like they're going to come back to the table, so that should be a good thing for us. I don't post a whole lot of world stuff on here, but I thought that was interesting to know. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my new members. I know I'm not a big channel, so everybody I get, I really appreciate you. Um, hang in there. I'll continue to put out content. Hopefully, once I get moved, I can get more into homesteading stuff because I'll be homesteading. There's a lot of work I have to do out there once we get moved in. So that's all I got for today. I'm enjoying the rain. It's now raining pretty well out here. Hopefully, this will be a good steady rain, at least a couple hours worth to help us soak the ground. So everyone stay safe and stay secure. We'll see you out there.